What is up, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast and Ringside podcast collaboration, the Wednesday Night Wrestling Recap. We're your hosts, Jeremy Wahman, the big little brother, Joe Wahman,
Acknowledge me.
and last but not least, Sean the Barber Beefcake.
Oh my God, how's it going?
The chat line is open for all of your comments. We'll answer all your questions in real time to get your reactions. If you're a member of the Ringside Group chat on Twitter, you have the opportunity to call in as well. We are coming to you live from 3 different locations. Joey and Sean are both in parking lots. I'm coming to you live from Hotlanta, Cardlanta, if you will. Gonna have a good, quick, keep it moving show tonight. We're all in various places trying to hurry up and get home. Questions of the day today. What was your favorite moment from Perth? Second one, what was your favorite Bound for Glory moment? Third, was this the right vision for the vision? Did they break it up too soon? Was it a failure? We'll get to all that very, very soon. First off, we're going to let Joey, as he has something to do, hit us with the SmackDown report. Joey?
All right, give me 1 second. Hopefully this will work. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
You still see me?
You're froze, but I can see you.
All right, well, that's good enough. It'll have to do. All right, so on Friday Night SmackDown, a lot to go over. Of course, we saw the return of Tama Tonga to the MFTs, and they all had the face paint on from the New Japan type deal, other than Solo. But he attacked Shinsuke during the United States Open Challenge match, which was a really good match until that happened. It was good to see Tama Tonga back, but kind of ruined the ending of a good match. So that ended in a no contest. We had tag team match. Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie Vaquer teamed up to defeat Julia and Kiana James. The Wyatt Six successfully defended their tag team championships against the Street Profits, and then after the match, the MFTs came into the ring. They had a little face off, and that was it. They got called off. Last man standing match. Well, hold on. Cody started off and appeared dressed in Seth Rollins. It was ahead of the match. Crown Jewel talked a little junk. And that was it. And then the last man standing match at the end, great match between Aleister Black and Damian Priest. Aleister Black won when he threw a fireball, and then hit Black Mass. Zelina Vega returned. Hadn't seen her in a little while. Returned and kind of stopped Priest from continuing. Then the fireball got thrown, and Black Mass match is over. Pretty simple SmackDown for the night. Wasn't a whole lot going on other than that. So yeah, that was SmackDown pre-Crown Jewel SmackDown. A lot of the people were already in Perth, so probably like a skeleton crew type of show.
And Joey, we'll let you stay on here until your visitors arrive.
They just arrived.
Okay, and just
I hate her button, Sammy.
Just so y'all know, he's not waiting out in the parking lot for a what's the nice word? Escort. He's waiting for family members to get there. All right, Joey, if you got to go, then we'll holler at you later. And
Later.
Take the rest of it. Crown Jewel, Bronson Reed with the upset Sean over Roman Reigns. That was I don't know a lot of people that thought that was going to happen, but it did. It happened. Mm-hmm. Stephanie Vaquer, as you all predicted, defeated Tiffany Stratton. John Cena and AJ Styles with probably the match of John Cena's career, I would say. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley defeated the Kabuki Warriors. And in the final match, in a great match, Seth Rollins overcome all odds to defeat Cody Rhodes with the amazing hit him in the head with the watch, right?
Yep, that's right.
Amazing heel move, great ending. This match featured again, the AJ and John Cena match featured about 7,000 different finishing moves. This one saw Seth Rollins pull out moves he'd never done before, probably for a reason. One of them was the coast-to-coast headbutt. Speculated that he injured himself doing that and may be out for a lengthy period of time. Unfortunately, Crown Jewel, Sean, for me, 5-star pay-per-view. How did you like it?
It was definitely better than WrestlePalooza. Like, I'd put it probably 4.5. But yeah, definitely a step up. You can see there's a direction now where they're headed. And there for a little while, like WrestlePalooza, it felt like it was just thrown in there, thrown together.
Well, I took a dump this
not.
morning that was better than WrestlePalooza.
Mm-mm.
Well, that's not fair because I'll be honest with you, WrestlePalooza was a good card. I think it's taken a lot of unnecessary flack just because it was thrown together at the last second. But from top to bottom, that was a solid card. It just didn't get promoted correctly leading up to it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So, all right, well, that brings us to the amazing Monday Morning Raw. Seth Rollins comes out with his promo, proclaims that this is his vision. This is something everybody should soak in. Bronson should soak it in. Braun should soak it in. Everybody looks happy. Braun looks a little worried, but Braun's been looking a little worried the last few weeks. More later on that. Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom, over Penta in a I'd say a really good Intercontinental title match via the Dirty Hammer, as I'm calling that finishing move. Jimmy and Jay get into it backstage because Jay keeps getting hurt when he's got big opportunities trying to help his brother out. Jimmy tells him to keep his A in the back then tonight, today, this morning, whatever. Rhea defeats Kairi Sane, coming out to her old music, but then the Kabuki Warriors beat the holy crap out of her after the match. Bronson Reed continues his mega run by defeating Jimmy Uso. Jay had to come out to help. Well, he didn't have to. Jay came out to help, took some damage, foreshadowing that he probably was not going to win the main event later on in the evening. We had no idea the main event was going to go after the main event was going to go the way it did. Lyra and Bayley beat Raquel and Roxanne after Lyra slaps the crazy into Bayley. And to end the night, in the morning, CM Punk defeats Jey Uso and LA Knight in a number one contenders match. After Jay takes the pin due to being hurt from earlier, CM Punk goes to sleep, hits to go to sleep, knocks his grill out, picks it up after the pin, and nonchalantly switches it to his other hand and hands it to Jay. I don't know if y'all saw that, but he gives it back to him after the match. Seth Rollins and them come out after the match, and you're like, all right, this is going to be your textbook. Beat everybody up. They come out, they destroy all three members of the match. After the smoke clears, they're all posing in the ring. The bottom third appears. Braun Breaker takes a couple steps back and then spears Seth Rollins. I didn't like this. I know that Seth got hurt, but this could be a time for them to prove that they could do it without him, and even add another young gun to the mix, and then lead to a turn. Hey, us young guns were doing it good without you all along while you've been gone. I did read where this turn happened this turn wasn't supposed to happen until WrestleMania next year. So very, very let down because there's been a couple of big payoffs that WWE's kind of dropped the ball. I won't say they dropped the ball on this. Seth got hurt. That's not really a ball drop. Sean, I'll explain that to you later. But I didn't like it. He pressures the other two into join him. I don't know why he would punk Bronson Reed out and tell him he had to join him. Bronson Reed could destroy him. Paul Heyman becomes a typical promiscuous female, hopping from lap to lap to lap. So stupid to turn him so soon, injury or not. Sean, what are your feelings on that?
Yeah, I felt it was rushed, obviously. I expected it more like sometime after Rumble, between Rumble and Mania, kind of almost redoing the Batista Triple H storyline.
Sure.
Where he wins, Braun wins, and then Braun comes out as the face. That's the other thing that's very interesting is I felt like they were going to try to build Braun as a face out of this. And instead, they gone super heel with him. And it looks like Seth's going to come out as the face. But
Which I
Other
don't
than
like.
that,
Heel Seth is better than face Seth.
I agree. I agree. So in the end, though, it was still kind. The one thing that was awesome was nobody saw that coming. I didn't see that happening. You know, there was no way I saw that happening, regardless if he was hurt or not. And then to have that happen, it got some people's attention, right? It got people's attention. So if you have an injury like that, you got to make the best of it. Now the question is going to be, what's the follow up? That's what I'm worried about. What's the follow up with this?
And there's a lot of follow up going on in professional wrestling these days, and we'll get to that in a second. And I'm excited for the majority of it. This I'm not, because I always feared. I was never the biggest Braun Breaker fan in NXT. I was like, they're trying to gear him up to be the next Cena. We don't need another Super Cena. And I thought, okay, I've got at least a little time before I see this with Seth leading the faction. You always knew that it was going to happen. But now that it's happened, I just fear that. And what happens to Survivor Series now? That has to throw that whole Team CM Punk versus Team Seth into shambles. Like, with Seth out, who's going to join Braun? And I know they've not announced it yet, and they probably will next week, but who's going to join Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Brock Lesnar, and Austin Theory now? Which are to be fair, those are the projected people. We don't know that to be true. We don't know that to be facts, but who's going to join that foursome to make it a fivesome? And do those five people move forward as the vision? We don't know. So lots of stuff happening on Raw. At least the one thing I will say, this will make it fresh. This will make it new. We'll get to see some different things coming out of Raw. Now, look, for those of you all that don't know, I left for Orlando, Florida to vacation. Supposed to be in Orlando this whole week. Some personal things happened that I had to come home today. But we arrived in Orlando Sunday afternoon, and we checked into our hotel. Beautiful place to stay. I've got a pipe bomb coming on that place later on in the day, by the way. You're going to enjoy it. And we relaxed. We had there's this place down there called Pisano's, and it's got the best Italian cheese bread and mini pizzas that I've ever had. They taste, the only way I can explain it is, imagine a gourmet Totino's pizza. And that's how this place is, and it's pretty awesome. And we ate our food. We went to sleep early. We got up early, and we traveled out. And we traveled down I-4 to Forsyth Avenue. And at the end of Forsyth Avenue lies one of the most elite training facilities in the country. You got it, the NXT Performance Center. So we drove to the NXT Performance Center because I told you all I was going to show down the NXT Performance Center. Can't say the other word, apparently. Well, I don't know. It's not that day, so I guess it wouldn't be incentive. So I was going to invade the Performance Center because I knew I had found out a couple days before. No NXT in Orlando this week. They double taped it last week. Super pissed. It is what it is. So I was like, one way or another, I'm going to be at the NXT Performance Center, and I'm going to do some investigating. So we pulled up to the NXT Performance Center. We're looking around. We see this guy at the merch trailer out front, and we're like, hey, excuse me, do you know, and this is where we got some juicy information. Hey, do you know if they do tours of the Performance Center? He said, well, probably not today because they're doing a bunch of pre-tapes for tomorrow night's episode. Oh, okay. He said production for tomorrow night's episode. So in my mind, I'm like, who's in there right now that when I see the show tomorrow night, I'm going to absolutely just kick myself for not sticking around because we didn't want to be creepy. We turned around, and as we pull off, Brian Pillman Jr. gets out of his car and walks into Lexus King gets out, and I immediately mark out. I want to stop. I tell Teresa to stop the car. I want to go say something to him. She's like, no, we're leaving. Probably the better idea because you don't want to stalk wrestlers, especially at their place of employment. I just want to get out and tell him, man, I enjoyed his work at OVW, and I really think he's got a good character at NXT, but I digress. Maybe next time we come down here, we'll be able to attend an actual taping, but there's nothing like being at the NXT Performance Center. It's amazing. I did not get to walk inside, even though I told Teresa, I said, hey, pull over and I'm going to walk up to the door like I'm supposed to be here and ask about the tours. And she's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. And she took us back to the condo, which was 40 minutes across the city. But I did get to invade kind of the Performance Center, and we had a good time. Show opens last night, NXT, speaking of the pre-tape. And I did kick myself afterwards for not sticking around and waiting to see if some people come out, because Javon Evans was there. The Hardys were there. So many people were there. And it is what it is. The show opened with Ricky Saints talking in the ring about last week and how Trick, he abandoned his team. And he basically called Trick a whole trick. The former TNA champion hops on the video board, and there's a challenge extended for a match at Halloween Havoc for the title. It's accepted. Halloween Havoc is a week from this Saturday in Prescott Hills, Arizona. Speaking of in the back, the Hardy Boys, Leon Slater, Javon Evans in the back, talking about their match at Bound for Glory, which we'll get to in a minute, how amazing everything was. And the Hardys, there's a lot of spoilers in this, so I'll wait till later on to talk about it in depth. After that, Josh Briggs wrestled his revenge match against Matt Cardona in a near complete great match that should have been won by Matt Cardona. It wasn't, though. What a really good match, Sean. I don't know if you got to see the match or not, but it was a match that Matt should have won, and it was a great match for NXT. It's what you expect from NXT, though. But for a regular weekly show, it was Cardona hit his drive-by. He hit the what was his finishing move called? The Radio Silence.
Yeah, Radio Silence.
He thought he was going to beat Briggs. He didn't. They were chanting at Briggs, "Go away, Briggs, go away," and it was awesome. In the back, there's a tag team number one contenders match set up as Leon and Javon are talking about how well they get along together, how good they gel, and they ask Santino and Ava if they can have a tag team title match. And they inform them that there's going to be a triple threat match later on to decide that in the night. But maybe as the partnership grows, it's something they could look at in the future. When out of the blue, Ariana Grace, who is Santino's daughter, and Stax walks into the picture. Stax starts talking crap to Leon Slater. Santino on camera asks if his future son-in-law can get an X Division title shot, or asked Ava that. Ava said, all right, next week on the show, Stax is going to get an X Division title shot. Sorry, there's noise at the door. Interesting to know today, a lot of speculation. I'm going to call this right now. I feel like that we see the return of the Dawn next week during this X Division title shot on NXT. El Hijo del Dr. Wagner A&M Tech State defeats Lexus King. After the match, Ethan Page comes out, your North American champion and the greatest North American ever in that building at the time. Hijo Tech then challenges Page to a Day of the Dead match at Halloween Havoc. Let me get back to the... okay, so I reversed them. So the triple threat match was set up earlier in the show. This is when Ava and Santino were talking to Leon. I had a long driving day today. You'll have to excuse me. Evans isn't happy that the match was set up, but says he'll be watching. Blake Monroe beats Zarya in a really good match. The triple threat match does occur, which is the Cullen, Chase U, and Hank and Twank, as I call them, which we see a return of a team that I've been talking about for weeks, Sean. OTM comes back. They leave them all laying. That should be your tag team champions, OTM. Not Dark State, not Hank and Tank, not Chase U. I have a feeling we're going to see an OTM Hardy Boy matchup in the very, very near future. And finally, after all the great, and TNA had a big showing in this number one contenders match. I know that the Inspiration was out there, Kalani Jordan, which NXT, whatever, TNA champion. Zaya Brookside was out there. there were a lot, and I know I'm leaving some people out, but there were a lot of TNAers out there. This match ends and Izzy Dame had already teased some jealousy between Izzy and Tatum Paxley earlier in the night. Lyra actually told Tatum good luck, and Izzy says she's not going to need it because I'm going to win it. But Tatum Paxley actually wins it when Izzy accidentally goes over the top rope, clothesline Jordan Grace out. They both go out. Great ending to a great NXT. Have I mentioned that NXT and TNA is the best thing going on? I think I have 1,000 times. Well, let me get to it a little bit more, because then we have the breakdown of of Bound for Glory, which, Sean, I really felt like after watching Bound for Glory, and I did get to watch that here. Sorry, I'm checking in. Did you see that? Did you get the text? Okay. That is almost about the most horrible time they could have scheduled that. Bound for Glory, top 3 pay-per-view for me of the year. It's opened off. First off, it was Mickie James and the Beautiful People being inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame. First match of the evening was the Inspiration. They defeated the Elegance brand to retain their Knockouts Tag Team Championship. Steve Macklin reacquired the TNA International Champion. He's the 2-time champ now by defeating Frankie Kazarian. You kind of thought this may have set something up later in the day, which it did. Tessa Blanchard absolutely destroyed Gia Miller with a roll of quarters. It was a pretty awesome 6-minute match, which led into a 22-person intergender call your shot gauntlet where the winner receives a trophy and a contract for a guaranteed title shot at any time, anywhere, any place. We get a little bit of a British Bulldog. Who was it, Sean? Lex Luger? Where the two people went over the top rope, where we had dual winners of the Royal Rumble.
Oh, well, you had that, and you had Batista and John Cena, right?
Yeah. Well, this was different because Frankie Kazarian and Nick Nemeth pinned each other to co-win this. The first time this has ever been shared. So they both got a trophy. They both get a title match. In a shocker for me, Kalani Jordan retained against Indy Hartwell for the for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. And then the match of the night, the 10-person intergender hardcore war between the System and Order 4. The System wins, rightfully so. They won pretty much. Moose with a really good week. Won at Showdown, won at Bound for Glory. Really good match. And then I say that, so the way they set up the rest of the night was match of the night after match of the night, because I watched that match. I'm like, this is the match of the night. Next match, Leon Slater versus Javon Evans. They go the full 20-minute time limit. They pull the schmaz. They're like, this is a draw, which made everybody mad. Santino comes out and says, 5 more minutes. And as they're getting to the gist, and this was everything we thought it was going to be, Sean, right? This was a match of the year contender. They schmozzed it up by making Dark State come out and jump them, and I hated that. But the match itself, phenomenal. Next match of the night, the Hardys defeating Team 3D, Bully Ray and Devon for they retained their TNA and NXT tag team titles. In a match that at the end, we got to see the Dudleys turn in their boots and retire. So that's officially the end of 3D. And last but not least, Mike Santana finally brings the TNA World title back to TNA by defeating Tricky the Trick Williams by pinfall. After the match, both winners teasing cash-ins. I wish that hadn't happened. It kind of diminished the win. Mike Santana celebrating in the middle of the ring with his daughter. Beautiful moment. Top 3 pay-per-view of the year. Sean, have I mentioned lately that NXT continues to roll on, and it's the best thing going right now in
Yes.
professional wrestling? I couldn't remember if I had or not. let's go to the chat really quick. We've got some. There's Daniel Garcia, our guy Daniel. What's up? Brian Cross. We're gonna actually. He answered the questions of the night. We're gonna get to that in a few. Tom Jeffries in the building. What's up, Tom? Where you at? Tom Jeffries. All right. I don't like the way that they pulled out a new design, and I don't like it. So I'm going to go back to the old design. And yeah, I know this is live TV, pal. Get over it. All right. So again, after the match, both winners tease. It is what it is. Our guy Daniel Hatfield has the OVW recap. Tommy Boy De Niro, now known as Tommy Superior, and Tony Evans versus Z-Force winner Tony and Tommy. Linda Kay and Steven Still are shown on their date. Maddie, the American Baddie versus Sophia Rose. Sophia Rose with the victory. Star Rider and Tony Gunn brawl after trying to decide who's the best. Al Snow announces they will participate in a best of 7 series. We all know best of 7s never let down. This should be one for the ages as well. Tegan Thorne versus J-Rod. J-Rod is victorious after a brutal spear. J-Rod's the best women's professional wrestler there at OVW. There's a new face on the horizon though, and we'll talk more about that in the upcoming weeks. Linda and Steven appear to be having a good time on their date. Not as good of a time as Joey and Linda would have on a date, but I digress. Jay De Niro comes out and addresses the crowd about the heartbreak of Tommy Boy turning on him. Tommy and Tony Evans come out, and Tommy delivers a low blow to Pops. Level 3 is shown on screen, and they had been attacked. Oh no, who could have done it? Then it's the Trick or Treat Battle Royal. Winner receives a title match of their choice at Heck Night, that's not what they called it, on October 30th. The veteran Jack Vaughn wins and announces he wants a tag team championship match and says his partner is undetermined at the moment. The Lankadors, I don't know who that is, versus Dustin Jackson and Anthony Totali, non-title match. Jackson and Totali win and are challenged to a rematch that will take place in 2 weeks against Los Desafios. Okay. OVW is on it right now. Freya tossed from backstage and followed by her attacker, which is the aforementioned newest person on the scene, Killa Kai. The two brawl for a while ringside before finally being separated. Listen, J-Rod, Freya, and Kai, that's going to be something to watch for in the upcoming week. Steven Still is tipsy and professes his love for Linda and then confesses that he's the one that canceled Brandon Davis's flights. That's why he stood her up, and she throws water on him and storms out of the restaurant. Very interesting. Big Zoe, who had been accompanying AJ McKay at commentary, gets upset when McKay mentions former U.S. champion Eric Surge and berates McKay and storms off the set. Anthony Green from NXT versus Cal Hero. Match was interrupted by Trifecta. And in the main event, Shotgun Tony Gunn versus Star Rider. No contest after Dr. Zoe, who had been at the booth all night, attacked AJ McKay and interrupts the match. Locker room clears to prevent Zoe from inflicting more damage. That was your OVW report by our guy, Daniel Hatfield. I'm going to get to the, where is it? TJ, where did you text that to me or did you? It's live TV, pal. I know. Tom Jeffries, where are you at? Where did you send that at, Tom? Tom, you sly dog, you. No, that wasn't there. Is it on Twitter or did you? No, okay, here we go. So this is all we got for AEW this week. They're running a 3-hour super show tonight, but Tom wanted you all to know the card for Wrestle Dream this weekend. Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron will fight Megan Bain, the Megasis, and Penelope Ford. FTR will fight Jet Speed. Those two are pre-show matches, which makes you think, well, if those are the pre-show, what's on the main card? Well, this is the main card. The Ricochet-led Demand will fight the Hurt Syndicate in a trios match. Thekla versus Jamie Hayter. The Young Bucks versus the Jurassic Express in a $500,000 match. Brodito and Okada and Takeshita in a tag team. Brodito versus Okada and Takeshita, depending on how you pronounce it, in a tag team title match. The AEW Women's World Championship will be defended when Chris Statlander fights Tony Storm. TNT title match features Kyle Fletcher defending against Mark Briscoe. John Moxley versus Darby Allin in an I Quit match. And in the main event, Hangman Adam Page will defend his AEW Heavyweight Championship versus Samoa Joe in a title match. Let's see. All right. So that's what we have for AEW Dynamite. Let's go to questions of the night. What was your favorite moment from Perth? Sean, I'll ask you that first before we get into the chat line.
Favorite moment? I know everybody go with Cena and AJ Styles, but I think my favorite moment was Bronson Reed getting the win but that tells me is Bronson Reed, they see a lot in him and a lot, obviously, at the time I thought in the vision, but, that's obviously, I don't know if that's going to be their name anymore, what have you, but I just thought that was a major win that was, I think, needed. I think if you're going to have Bronson Reed be one of these two big bad dudes, you got to have him beat somebody like Roman to say, hey, I'm here. I can beat anybody anytime.
I'm going to go as Sean cuts in and out on us again. He's on his Fisher Price Wi-Fi. I'm going to go with, gosh, so many to pick from. I'm going to actually, I'm going to go Seth versus Cody. And in a close second, Dominic and Penta with great matches for there. What was your favorite Bound for Glory match or moment, Sean?
Santana winning. I mean, that is something they've needed to do for a while, and I just think the moment, winning the way he did, hitting the clothesline and picking him back up and hitting the spin the block, and getting to celebrate with his family, that was awesome.
For me, it was Javon Evans. It was everything, exactly what I thought. I think the ending could have been better, but that was my number one. Brian Cross with a very lengthy response, as you can see on the screen. AJ Styles versus John Cena was his favorite. Santana winning the TNA title was his favorite. And 3, I don't know if it was the right move for the Vision or not, but given the legit injury to Seth, they really didn't have much choice. I still think they could have had a choice. I don't know that they should have necessarily pulled the plug so quick on it. I think that they could have figured out something else. Again, we pitched it earlier how they could have done it. Robert Holt says the Dudleys will never die. That's classic from our guy, Rob. But only time will tell if this was the right. Let's see what comes out of it. A pipe bomb for the evening. Oh, hold on. We have don't we have producer Sean? Can you go ahead and hit the pipe bomb? All right. So, as I stated, I had to leave my vacation early today because of some personal reasons, and left 4. You got to use 2 of my days at the condo. Left 4 on the table. When I was leaving that place, I called to ask them, was there anything I could do to get my money back? And they said, sorry, there is no excuse for you not to stay and finish out your stay. We're not going to give you any money back. To which I will say to them, you can go frost yourself. The reason I'm coming home is 2 million times more important. And here's the thing. We come stay with you all 2 or 3 times a year. You're going to be losing my money. And I will make sure that everybody else knows where not to stay when they go to Orlando, even though it's a really, really great value. And I may go back and just get over it because it's so good of a value. But Idyllic is the name of the property, IDILIQ, and IDGAF. I'm not giving you any more of my money. You can go frost yourself and eat a big old kielbasa. Hey, Wes Rocky joining in 5 minutes before we close the show up. That's awesome. Look, in closing, thank you to our contributors, Tom Jeffries, Clint Carroll, Daniel Hatfield. We appreciate them. Our fine sponsors, CapGo Championship Belts. Go to Facebook, 3 different words, CAPGO Championship Belts. They'll create any current title or any title of your dreams. You've seen them in our normal studio, not here in Hotlanta, not there in the parking lot of whatever kind of shifty joint Sean's sitting outside of right now. But you can see the work. They do really, really good job. Closing thoughts, Busted Open 247. Shout out to those guys. Keep killing it. Keep doing a good job. Sean, I'm going to ask you this final question before we hop off here. What are you looking forward to the most coming up this week of wrestling in the wrestling world? I mean,
I'll be curious to see how SmackDown, like what they do on SmackDown now that Cody obviously lost to Seth. So what's his response to that? Who's going to face Cody now? For instance, is he going to have a Survivor Series match, or is he going to have a title match at Survivor Series?
sure.
And other than that, I am kind of interested in a Hangman Page Samoa Joe match, because Samoa Joe is one of the best wrestlers, on the planet, even now at his age. And I just like watching him wrestle, so I'll be curious to see how that match plays out.
All right, I'm looking pretty forward to NXT this upcoming week. I think a lot of stuff, just the build for Survivor Series, I think I'm looking forward to the most. Raw should be pretty good. It should all be pretty good. Look, for myself, for Joey, who's already left, for Sean, who is not sitting alone in his jack wagon. He's there. There's other people in the car, and there's nothing weird. Well, other than that, there's nothing weird going on. Until next time, this has been the Woo 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 Ringside Podcast and Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast collaboration of the Wednesday Night Wrestling Recap. We'll see you all soon. You know it. Hit the outro music, producer.